Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I found these cute little milk bottles from the Dollar Tree, and I feel so lucky to have found them because my Dollar Trees normally don't have anything cute. But these turn out so stinking cute. Oh my goodness. Okay, so here's the process. They won't fit in that little slatted crate from the Dollar Tree. They won't fit in the little tray. It's too big, too wide, too long. And then even the little box I got from Michael's is too big. So I decided to make my own. And here I have this one that I took the ends off for another project and couldn't find them in my little wood pile. But here I've decided that that would be perfect if it was shorter because it's so tall that it covers up the front of the milk jug. So I want you to be able to see that emblem on the front of the milk jug. So I decided to make my own crate. And at first I have no idea how I'm going to do it. So I have these paint stir sticks. Sorry about that. And then I decided to use one of the Dollar Tree planks. And I decide that, after I set the milk jugs on top of that it's perfect. Except it's too long. But the crate here that I have in my hand is the perfect size, the perfect length. So I'm going to cut that down, and it ends up being 5 7/8 inches. And I'm going to use my miter shears to cut everything that I cut. And all of the wood and the bottles are from the Dollar Tree. And here we go. Two sides at 5 7/8 by 13/16, and then the two ends are 2 9/16 by 1 13/16, and then the bottom is 5 7/8 by 2 7/8. And the only thing that's not from the Dollar Tree from this is the ribbon, which I got from Amazon a long time ago. So even I put a little handle on the crate after I get it built, and that's a piece of wicker from a wicker basket I got from the Dollar Tree. Okay, so I decide I want two of these slats. Two of these slats will be the perfect height, and it won't cover up the emblem on the milk jugs. So I very carefully, and I know it looks like it's close to my fingers. It is not. It's not that close. Plus I am not pressing down super hard on it. I'm just scoring it. It catches a knot every now and then, so it makes it look like I'm really pressing down, but I am not. I promise you. I would be a lot more careful than that. But they snap really easy, and then I'm just going to trim it up, and then eventually I'm going to sand it. I kind of forget about sanding it down, and then I remembered at one point. So these are the perfect length, but I don't take into account when I do my sides the 1/8 of an inch thickness of the wood. So I did have to mess around a little bit with that, trying to figure out. Now the pieces that I'm using for the sides are a piece of wood, of Dollar Tree wood planks. They're just ones that I have left over from other projects. So why I didn't just lay that down flat on there and measure it out, I have no idea. I was watching myself like, what are you doing? All you have to do is lay that down there. I even get out my square when I could have just laid that down. Oh, Terry. Sometimes when I turn the camera on, I get fidgety, like nervous, and just goofy. Yeah, just lay that down there and it should be the perfect height, right? Because that's my go-to height. So I still have a lip on the bottom. Like I told you, I forgot to sand it down. So I'm going to sand these down off camera. Please, if you haven't already subscribed, I would really appreciate your subscription to my channel. It really helped me out. I've gained quite a few in the last month, but quite a few for me was 24. I think. But, I mean, I could give up, you know. I'm not going to. I'm going to craft, so I might as well just put it out here. So anyways, my miter shears had left a little, because I have to cut it from one side and then turn it over and cut it on the other side. But, you know, we do what we have to do when we're crafting. I'm having a good time with it. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's mine, you know. So, you know, when I do mess things up a little bit, it's not that hard to sand it down. So here's where I realized that I was 1/8 of an inch off on all of my wood. Now the measurements that I gave you are completely correct. I just moved that ahead in the spots after I wrote it down, after I wrote down the measurements. I put that video segment up into the front where I showed you. So those are the correct measurements. So now we're smooth. We're going to add some wood glue. The way I do the next one is the way it worked out the best. I put the wood glue on, or the hot glue on the ends and the wood glue down the center, and that worked better. It held the ends down better. I do end up with a gap because of the hot glue. But that way, when you put it down, you can put pressure on both ends to kind of hold that hot glue down. But it did work out better that way. Now, that crate, originally the one that we tore apart, or cut apart, is burnt umber on there. That was before I found the wonderful Waverly Antique Wax. But anyways, my Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint covers that up with literally one coat. I did end up putting 2 coats on it, but it covered it with one. That stuff is so good. I'm not sure about any other chalk paint because that's the only one that I've had. The only one that I've used, other than the chalkboard paint from the Dollar Tree, the black stuff. But anyway, get your sides up, and then I fidgeted with the side pieces, the end pieces I mean, and I ended up having to completely recut them because I had a bow in one of them. I sanded down too much on one end, and yeah, I always say, you know, I want to be a woodworker, but then I do these simple little projects and they just throw me through a loop. So I'm not quite sure what's going to happen when I get in there working with my saws. But I have to think, you know, working with like more professional tools, that I would do a lot better. Well, I did a lot better when I used to work in a pattern shop. I could cut the pieces precise. You know, here I'm working with miter shears that don't completely cover the whole piece that I'm cutting, so I have to flip them around, you know, and then finally I get the desired size. And here I'm looking to make sure that they're even, and slid them on, and one was kind of bowed a little bit too big on the top side or the bottom side. I moved it from one side to the other to see, you know, which side was best. So here I'm just putting wood glue on the bottom of the piece, because if you put it on the sides, it's just going to gush out all over the place and you're going to end up with not very much of it there. So I just squeezed it together. I got it even, squeezed it together, and then put some dollops, globs of hot glue in the corners to you know, keep them together. Not very pretty on the inside, but you know, once you paint it, you can't see it. So I didn't paint the box, or the crate I should say, the homemade crate, until last, because I didn't know for sure if I wanted to paint it white or black. I just couldn't decide until after I got the bottles done, and then I decided that white was more realistic to a you know, like the old milk crates. I think they were white. I'm not 100% sure. I've only seen them in antique shops. But anyway, this project made me happy. I worked on it down here. It didn't take, you know, it did take a super long time. The video segments are what you know, really take the longest because, well, the video editing, I should say, are really what takes the longest, because you have to make sure you don't put stuff in there that nobody really wants to see. See there, you can see my glue line in there. So that's how I just squeeze the corners together and then put a, a good sized line of glue to hold them. And that was easier than, it was a lot less messy than putting glue, hot glue on it. It would have been on the outside. We would have had trouble, So putting it on the inside made it a little less, I don't know what you call it, sloppily made. So this was perfect. It's absolutely perfect because you have a little bit of the milk jug that you can see. It's not completely covered like it was with the other ones. Like I said, I feel really lucky that I actually found these. Normally I have 2 different Dollar Trees that I go to, and they normally don't have a lot of floral. This was in the floral area. They usually don't have a lot of the unique vases and stuff. So I felt lucky to get these because they're so cute. So I just grabbed 2. They probably had maybe 6 of them there. But I thought, how cute. How cute is that? So this is called stippling, the paint. And this is how I do all my glass now. You'll catch me sometimes, I'll whip out the brush and I'll start brushing it just only to tell myself, what are you doing? Okay, so here I'm showing you the back side of it. It said, please wash and return. So it's really cute. It's a really cute thing. So there's my Rust-Oleum chalk paint in linen white, and like I said, it complete coverage on with one coat, but I ended up putting 2. I ended up using 2 coats. Here I'm just picking off excess pieces of wood. Those Dollar Tree planks are, they're pretty cheap. So this is a Dollar Tree basket that I took apart to make a couple of different DIYs. I have a big one coming, a tumbling tower block planter, where I used the wicker to kind of hold the pieces together. And it's a big project. It's taken me a long time to do. But stay tuned. I hope you come back and check it out. That should be my next video, or I've got it drying now. It's the wood glue, it's drying in it, so I'll either have that video on Monday or next Thursday or Friday. But I do have another video coming out shortly. I have to edit, where I use the wicker to do a hurricane vase. I put wicker around the hurricane vase. So definitely some good stuff coming up. If you come back and check it out. Check it out. If you hit the notification bell beside excuse me, beside the subscribe button, it'll let you know. You can click to, it'll let you know when I release a new video. When I release, is that right? Here I got a little bit too blobby there and I stuck my finger in it and made it worse. But all you have to do is take a little bit of your white paint after it dries and just cover that back up again. I did not do that because you can't see it when you put it in there, but I will do it before I take it upstairs. I'm going to put this right on my, I have a, I guess they call it a serving window in between my living room and what used to be a porch up there, which is now like a front entryway. I don't know why there'd be a serving window there, but they're usually between a kitchen and a dining room. But mine just happens to be there. So I'm just taking a skewer and just rubbing it along. I'm sorry, I should have explained that. Just rubbing it along the raised parts of the bottle, and I do that to both bottles. You know, I just barely get a little bit on the skewer and just rub it into areas where I think it, you know, where I think it'll look worn. I do a little bit on the bumps on the bottle. The bottle's real bumpy. So then I go around the mouth of the bottle. I should have been explaining that instead of talking about my serving window. I apologize. I get sidetracked very easily, like now. Anyway, yeah, it says, please wash and return, I think it says on it. See, I did it not just once, not just twice, but 3 times. 3 globs of black paint. But anyways, all you have to do is just wash over top of that. Wash over top of it. Paint over top of that with your white paint after it dries. My dogs are really barking up there. It's not unusual, but they're really being annoying today. A little bit more, I guess, a little bit more than usual. So I decided to put these little bows on there, and I want them to be identical, you know, from bottle to bottle. Now I left them long, the tails long on them, but then I decided later that they were longer than what I really wanted them to be, because at first I really wanted them to be long, but I ended up cutting them shorter and then dovetailing them. So I'm going to put a strip of ribbon at the bottom of my crate where you can kind of see the glue there, so this covers that up nicely. As you remember, this is a homemade crate, so I did not do a professional job. I didn't do a terrible job. I did not do a terrible job. It actually, you know, I'm proud of it. I think it turned out really good. And you can always do completely around the whole thing. Well, then I thought I'm going to put a piece of twine on there. And, you know, once I got it on there, it's too late. There's no backsies, but I did try it out first to see. And I thought it looked really cute too. So I'm going to put a twine bow at the top of the box also, so it kind of all ties in together. But I thought that the twine looked really good there, so just got my twine up a little bit too high. My phone, I'm telling you, I sit around here all day and it never makes a sound until I start to record. So anyways, I'm going to wrap some twine around the neck of the bottle, and I did 3 laps, and then I'm going to put the bow on that on the front. Burning off the hairs. This just makes it look so cute. Just absolutely adorable. Beautiful. So now I'm going to put the strap on. I measure to make sure that I have it centered. And this is like the ones, you know, the old carrying handles. It's what it's supposed to look like. So anyways, I marked where the center was. Added some hot glue. Got that down, and then did the same thing to the back side. I really hope that you'll hit the like and that you'll subscribe and help me grow my channel. There, I've already cut the tails off on the ribbon, as you can probably see. Okay, so I'm going to make a twine bow, and just a shoestring bow is all it is, and burn the hairs off. And I also put a little dab of glue to keep the shoestring from coming apart, to keep the bow from coming apart, and that stuff shot out of there like crazy. I'm still getting used to that big glue gun, but it was supposed to be just a tiny little dab, and it was way too much. Little dab, big glob. It was ridiculous. So anyways, a handy makeup spatula there. Very hairy twine. Burn that off a little bit. Put the bow on. Anyways, I really appreciate you watching. I hope you'll come back. Hope you'll come back to see me, to listen to me, I guess. There, how cute is that? Very cute. So here it is. Now this is before I distressed the wood. I took a little bit of black, which I lost the footage of. I took a little bit of black on a paintbrush and just barely painted the edges and down the center slat there, and it really made it pop. So, but this was beforehand, and I'll show you the back side where it says please wash and return. And how cute is that? Okay, and then the next little video is going to be where I did distress it a little bit with black paint. So that made it look really good. Okay, thank you for watching. I really do appreciate you. Come back.